and I'm opening for questions.
Thanks very much, Guillermo.
I think that there is a question, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, there's one question so far, and no doubt people will be putting them in as we go on. So in the first question, Teen has asked, could you talk about trade-offs of enabling time travel in Delta Lake?
Yeah, okay, yeah, perfect. That's an amazing question. What I will say that will depend on the use case. So for example, if you have a streaming use case that you are running, so what is time travel? So how Delta works? Delta works by this. Basically, every time that you do a commit, you are appending Parquet data. I will be technical a little bit on this, guys. So if someone is lost, please ask me. So how is working Delta? Delta basically is Parquet plus logs. So every time that you do a new commit, you have a new bunch of Parquets, then new bunch of logs. Now, let's put the extreme case that you have login forever. At one moment that your login metadata is going to become big data. So by default, we have Delta having time travel up to 30 days. But as well, if you think about that, depending on the use case, if you're consuming data once a day, maybe you can have time travel for a year. If you're consuming data once every 5 milliseconds, maybe that will reduce the time travel. Hopefully this solves your question. And please feel free, guys, to ask me any kind of questions.
I'm sure more will pop up. You mentioned at the start about a big part of the 1 billion investments going into R&D. Where specifically do you see that getting invested in the kind of medium to short to medium term, if you want to use that terminology?
Totally. Something that we are really investing is to have, and we are improving, and that is what I wanted to say to people. What you see today is going to be much better in the next few months to a year. We're improving how our new proprietary engine is working. It's called Photon. Basically, what we did, we took a Spark that is written in Scala and moved it into C++, and that you see how fast it is. And we're improving a couple of things. A, how this is fast. But something I'm really passionate about, we're improving how people work with Databricks. When we started Databricks, was more for, like, let's say when they started, not me. When they started Databricks, I thought I will be a billionaire. That was mostly for geeks. Now we wanted to make it for everybody. So we are simplifying everything from how you add users, how you make your queries, how you debug. We are starting to automate performance on Spark for you, so you don't need to worry about.
Perfect. I think there's a couple more in now, Guillermo, if you want to have a look.
I'm not really sure if this is the chat or the question. Let me see if I can see the questions.
Q&A. There's one just went into the chat. There's one from Richard Bradley. He's asking, how does the Data Lake manage GDPR's subject matter search and right to
perfect. I love that question. Okay, how do we manage? That's something that is coming to all our customers, something that makes your life easier with GDPR, is you have ACID transactions. So, and you say like, why this is important? Look, if you have today Parquet, or if you're using any other open source big data format file, and you need to delete the data of someone, what you need to do, you have to go read all your Parquet files, filter the data, delete your previous Parquet files, and rewrite it. So this is really painful, and this is prone to error. With Delta Lake, the only thing that you do is like, please delete John, and done. And you say like, hey, wait, but we have time travel. So what you need to do is like SQL, delete everything where John is, and then you do a vacuum, and that deletes all the history. So basically, instead of having like 4 different steps on Parquet, you have just a select all where John is, blah, 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 and then vacuum. So it really helps you to comply with GDPR. And there is one more that is similar in America, which I don't remember the name.
Perfect. And who's next?
I can see the chat, but I cannot really see the question. Sorry for this. For some reason.
Can you see the Q&A section down the bottom?
Yeah, but I cannot click. Maybe if I stop sharing, maybe I can see. Ah, there you go. I can see now.
Perfect.
Sorry for that. And let me see where we are.
Derwin.
Hopefully that is okay. Please let me know if not. Richard, if I didn't reply to you, Richard, answer correctly, please let me know. So I'm going for Derwin. Is any support for pseudo masking data? Basically, look, this is a really interesting question, Derwin. So what I will say here is one of the things that you could do today, for example, is what we have. For example, one thing that we have today is, let's say we have on the tables ACLs. So basically you can define like Guillermo as a user could see this table, but Guillermo, we have a particular column, how you call it, with XXX. So I will not see the value. So I can programmatically say to someone that they can read certain values or certain rows, and from that I can set to certain parameters, so that will not be shown to me. Now you're talking about masking data. Let's say that you are, I don't know, if you're working in a bank and you need to, I don't know, mask your credit card numbers. For that, what I will say is not an out of the box, but you can create, for example, a UDF if you're using PySpark, or a function in Scala. And when you are consuming this data, you can just mask that on the fly. Hopefully that helped you, Derwin. Please feel free to come back if you feel that the answer is not what you expected, or if you want to continue the conversation. I will go to the next one. Gary, if you already have a data warehouse and are considering moving to the cloud, will you advocate Delta Lake as a target? What I will say, like, yes. Couple of things here, and let's go by part. Lakehouse today is working, but if I go into the details, it's not for every use case. So I will say, like, in what I will say in the cloud, I will have all my data on one place using Delta Lake, basically Lakehouse. But still, if I have use cases, let's say that I need to reply on the order of milliseconds or under a second, that use case is for a database. So what I will do, I will move all my data to the Lakehouse using Delta, and maybe I'm going to have a small amount of databases serving that millisecond use cases. Going back to your question, will I move everything to Delta? Totally. We are not only, one of the things that we are doing, and as well I'm passionate about this, we are not improving Delta for us, we are improving this for the community. It's something that we are doing, and you will see a lot of linking if we are looking for more people to collaborate on the data open source part. So I will move it. And the reason I will say why Delta, because today you may decide to be on Databricks, tomorrow you may decide to be on whatever, but the data is yours. You need to do an ETL process. Hopefully that is okay. Please ask me. Now, Richard Bradley, some data has to be kept for regulatory reasons, financial data. How does it get flagged, not purged by GDPR? Okay, that is, look, I've been working in 2 banks. If you have, please, what I will say, I'm not a lawyer, but what I understand of working in 2 different banks. If, because of the regulation, you need to keep the data of someone, and by the way, you can read this as well. I'm just remembering, if you read your T's and C's on HSBC or whatever bank you have, if, let's say for regulatory reasons, they meant to keep your data for 5 years and you ask them to forget it, they're going to still keep it because they have to comply with the regulator. But that is technically, everything is possible to delete data to keep it, but this is more like for the lawyers. Hopefully that helped you. Technically, it's possible to do with Delta, whatever you want to do, keep it or leave it. By the way, guys, can I ask you something to you guys, and you can write it in the Q&A. What are you, if you're a data scientist, can you write DS? If you are an enterprise engineer, and also we like to, if you can, to write roughly like if you are working today on the cloud. If someone can just type Richard, Gary, Derwin, Thin, anyone, if you could start to do this, that would be amazing as well. You can do it on on the chat, maybe here. And that is only the panelists. Sorry for that. I cannot type, but if you want to type anything, I would like to know about what is your background or what are your needs. Are you working in any particular industry that you need to consider? For example, my background, data engineering, I work in finance, working in startups. Anyone that is a freelancer, if you're a freelancer as well, that will be awesome to know. I've been a lone wolf consultant, guys. And, you know, I understand your pain.
Guillermo, would you be happy for anyone, obviously, that was in attendance tonight, or someone that's maybe perhaps watching it on the recording, just to reach out to you directly if they've got any kind of more questions or want to pick your brains in certain areas?
Totally.
Would it just be better on LinkedIn or something like that?
Totally, guys. Look, I'm sure that Darren is going to share the presentation. I'm going to send it as a PDF. Find me LinkedIn. More than happy to answer questions. And looking forward for seeing you again. Thank you for coming, guys.
Perfect. Guillermo, thanks very much for your time. Loads of good information in there. As I say, Guy, everybody that was in attendance, thanks very much. We will put all of Guillermo's slides out to you. There'll also be a recording on YouTube if you wanted to watch anything back. And as we said, feel free to reach out to Guillermo. I'll put his contact details out to the group for any further questions. And I know he's going to be part of a lot of the events, being attendee or future speaker. So I'm sure you'll see him again.
By the way, before we finish, Darren is a Hadoop AWS. The same background, man. Richard, freelance consultancy as well as CTO. Wow, that's hard. Reach me anytime, guys. Anyone that reach Richard. And Gary is a freelance, working as an architect in financial services. You're talking to Databricks. Oh, nice. Let me know, Gary. Just tell me, look, guys, you have the same background as I have, especially the Hadoop AWS. I've been there, guys. I've been working in big companies. Look at Barclays. I was in charge of the just a little bit on this, on one of the really key projects on basically producing data with data that we have, and it's great place to work. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. It has been a pleasure. Many thanks, Darren and BNN, for this, and thank you very much.